Welcome back to class. In this session, we are going to talk about lesson 3 from unit 8, which is ask and answer questions about past actions. So we are going to study, or perhaps for you, review the past continuous and simple past. Let's start by reading these jokes. Number 1. A man was speeding down a highway surrounded by cars, all going around 80 miles an hour. While he was passing another car, an officer with a radar gun pulled him over. When the officer was handing the man the ticket, the man complained, "I know I was speeding, but this isn't fair. All the other cars around me were speeding too." The officer asked, "Have you ever gone fishing?" The man answered that he had. The officer said, "Have you ever caught all the fish?" Story number 2. An officer pulled a young woman over for doing 50 miles per hour in a 35 miles per hour zone. As the officer was writing the ticket, he asked the woman why he was going so fast. "I wanted to get there before I got lost," she replied. Story number 3. A car was driving very slowly down a highway when an officer stopped it. Inside were 4 elderly women. The officer told the driver that she was going too slowly. "But officer," she said, "I was going 22 miles per hour, exactly the speed posted on the sign." The officer smiled and said, "Ma'am, this is Highway 22. The speed limit is 60. He looked at the other women, who all looked very frightened. "Are they okay?" the officer asked. The driver said, "Well, we just got off Highway 150. Did you get the jokes? Anyway, let's move on. So, read the stories on slide 1, we just read, and answer the following questions. Click classwork to download the assignment. So I'm going to use these questions in our classwork. Please answer the questions there and then you can submit your work. Now let's review the past continuous and past simple tenses. You can watch this video, which explains clearly, I think.
In this film, you will learn about the difference between using the simple past and the past continuous tense. It is important to use these tenses correctly. The past continuous is mainly used for 4 things. 1. To describe an ongoing event in the past which is interrupted by something. For example, I was doing my homework when the doorbell rang. 2. To describe 2 events that happened at the same time in the past. I was reading a book and she was playing with our cat. 3. It can also be used to set the atmosphere in a story. For example, it was a dark and gloomy forest. No sound was heard, except for a bird that was shrieking in the distance. 4. You can also use the past continuous to express an annoying and repeated action in the past, usually with the adverb always. Here's an example. He was always mocking my short hair. The simple past is used for different situations. You use simple past to express finished past events. For example, Spain won the championship. Often, a simple past tense is used together with a time adverb expressing a time in the past, such as yesterday, last week, and in 2005. Here is an example. Last week, we went to Paris. So, which one is needed in your case?
And this is the grammar box from our book. Complete the active grammar box by writing simple past or past continuous. Number 1, a man and a woman were speeding down a highway. So we use the past continuous to talk about an action in progress at a particular time in the past. Number 2, an officer pulled a young woman over. So use the past simple to talk about completed actions. in the past. Number 3, a car was driving very slowly down a highway when an officer stopped it. So we use the past continuous to talk about an action in progress interrupted by another action. The last slide of this session, you can see here some examples and the answer are underneath the sentences. For example, number 1, I was walking home when I met Sarah. This is an interrupted action. Walk here happened first and then the process had not finished. So I was walking when I met. So this is the interruption. Another way to understand whether it is past continuous or past simple, walk is a long action, but meet is a short action. So walk, the long action, you put in the past continuous, walking. But meet is just met, one short action. So you use the past simple for short action. Number 2, Pablo took a photo of me when I was not looking. So the word take is short action. Just click, took a photo when I was not looking. Actually, was not looking happened first, and the action continued when Pablo took a photo. Number 3, I was reading a magazine when the train arrived. Again, read is a long action, so I was reading when the train arrived. Like that. And the action read started first. It had not finished, then the train arrived, interrupted. Number 4, how fast were you driving at that time when the accident happened? Alright? I hope you can understand clearly and then you can do the exercise well. I will see you again in my next video.